Finnegan, drafted this year and already making an impact for Ned Yost's club. Yost talked with Nate Bukaty a short while ago at Kauffman Stadium.
All right, Ned, you've been on this stage before multiple times with the Braves, but almost all of your players, this is the first time they've ever been in this situation. How would you categorize the mindset of this team right now?
It's very confident right now. You know, coming into it, we didn't have very much postseason experience. But after the wild card game, I mean, what more experience can you get after coming back, being down 4 in the 8th inning against John Lester and a crowd that was extremely electric. The pressure was intense, and they stood up and found a way to win that ball game. But they're very, very confident. They're embracing the whole playoff experience, and they're eager for it.
One guy who has been in this position is your Game 1 starter, James Shields. How much has he affected the mood and the mindset of the rest of this team?
Well, I think a little bit, but, you know, I think the thing that got us over the hump was the wild card game. You know, when they started that game, before the game, I kept getting questions. Your team hasn't played well in front of big crowds, and how do you expect them to react? And they came out on fire. The fans were, again, electric that day, and I don't know what it was, Nate. Something clicked for them, and all of a sudden, they were in their element. They're extremely confident. They feel real good about where they're at and where they're going, and I think it's going to be an exciting series.
Speed on the bases has been such a major factor for your team all season long, and especially in the postseason. The Orioles are known as a team that might be one of the best in baseball at controlling the running game. How, if at all, does that affect the way you guys approach this series?
Well, it doesn't. It's not going to affect much for us, all right? We are very opportunistic in when we run. You know, all year long, everybody that we've played, you know, comes into this park knowing that if we get on base, we're going to take off. So, you know, they've worked hard to control the running game all year long, and we've still been pretty successful with it.
Thanks a lot for the time, Ned.
Thanks, Nate.
Ned Yost and Nate Bukaty at Kauffman Stadium. This is the Game 1 match.
TBS.
You want a guy who can fly? How about this? Herb Washington. 40 years ago, he was on the A's. He played on the A's in 74 and 75. Never got a plate appearance in his career. Not once did he step to the plate, but he played in 105 games. He was a pinch runner. He stole 31 bases, caught 17 times. A former track star, his job was to run and run really, really fast. Nate Bukaty joins us from Kansas City. The Royals have a guy like that. His name is Terrence Gore. What does he add to this club?
Yeah, Matt, that's a great comparison, except for Gore hasn't been caught yet. He's 8 for 8 in his major league career. I don't know how many times in the American League Championship Series there's been a player without a major league hit, but 8 stolen bases. That's what Terrence Gore is right now. But at the same time, Ned Yost says that he's not a luxury on this team, he's a necessity, because the Royals feel like the running game is so important to what they do that they have to have him on the roster. Now, as you guys just covered, the Orioles are better at throwing runners out and controlling the running game than anybody the Royals have faced this season. But Ned Yost says they're still going to run, especially when guys like Terrence Gore and Jarrod Dyson have the opportunity. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that battle.
Who's on the mound, though? Give us the rotation as you know it. As of right now, still a couple of days away from Game 1.
James Shields going to start game number 1, and that's no surprise to anybody. He is the ace of this staff. They call him Big Game James for a reason. Game number 2 will go to Yordano Ventura. In the ALDS, it was Jason Vargas, but they like the way that Ventura can keep the ball in the yard going to a place like Baltimore, which is a home run hitter's ballpark. That probably means that Vargas will be the number 3 starter back in Kansas City, although the Royals haven't announced that yet. The big question is who will be the 4th starter as they'll go with the 4-man rotation. It could be Guthrie, it could be Danny Duffy. They're trying to decide which one of those guys they want in the rotation, which guy they want to be their long man in the bullpen, and they haven't made that decision yet. Either way, they feel great about the depth that they have with those 5 starters and the bullpen guys they have. They'll probably go with 11 pitchers overall.
We know who's going to be at first base, Eric Hosmer. When he's not whooping it up with the fans, he's playing first and doing it really well. Tell us the story about the night they beat the Angels and what went on there.
So Eric Hosmer sent out a tweet after the game and said that anybody that wanted to celebrate with the team should come down to a local bar in downtown Kansas City and have fun with the team. People took him up on it. They didn't get there till about 1 o'clock in the morning because it was another long ball game here. But Eric Hosmer and his teammates picked up the tab for an entire hour for the entire bar. They sprayed the fans down with champagne just like they had done in their clubhouse moments earlier. And Hosmer told me yesterday that he's getting all the credit. TMZ reported this was about a $20,000 bar tab. He says he's getting too much of the credit for that. He said it was just that his credit card was the one that was down, but the rest of the team actually chipped in on it as well. But you talk about a fan base that's been starving for a winner for 29 years here. This young team has really embraced that. They've embraced the response they've gotten from the fans, and they've kind of joined together. It's been a pretty cool story, Matt.
And it's going to be an amazing scene, games 3 and 4 of the ALCS, when the Royals get back there from Baltimore. Nate Bukaty checking in from Kansas City.
Coming up on the rundown.